Have you ever looked at a bowl of fresh fruit and thought, well, it's all healthy, right? What could possibly go wrong? I mean, we've been told all our lives that fruits are nature's candy, rich in fiber, vitamins, antioxidants. And don't get me wrong, many of them truly are good for you. But here's a surprising twist most people, especially those of us over 60, don't talk about. Some fruits can quietly work against your health rather than for it. If you've been eating the same fruits for decades, thinking they're helping you stay strong, but you've noticed your legs feel weaker, your joints ache a little more, or your energy isn't what it used to be, well, you might be in for a bit of a shock. Because the truth is, not all fruits are created equal, especially for seniors. See, as we age, our bodies change in so many subtle ways. Our metabolism slows down, our ability to process sugars shifts, and even the way we absorb nutrients becomes different. What may have been perfectly fine in your 40s or 50s could now be a silent troublemaker in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. And when it comes to fruit, the wrong kind can lead to blood sugar spikes, inflammation in the joints, and even weakness in the muscles, especially in the legs, where we rely on strength and stability the most to stay independent and mobile. Now, I want you to imagine this. You're out for a morning walk. The breeze is soft, birds are chirping, and your mind feels youthful and ready to embrace the day. But your legs, they feel like they're dragging behind. You're not quite sure why, but they just don't have that spring they used to. What if the very fruit you had for breakfast, the one you thought was helping you, was actually slowly weakening your legs over time? This is why today's conversation is so important. We're going to uncover 4 fruits that may be doing more harm than good, particularly for seniors who want to protect their strength, their energy, and their longevity. I want you to feel empowered, not scared, because once you know what to watch out for, you can start making better choices today. It's not about cutting fruit out of your life, not at all. It's about being wise about which ones to enjoy and which ones to limit or avoid. Let's begin with one that often surprises people. Picture this. You're at the grocery store, and right at the entrance, there's a beautiful pile of grapes. Green, red, plump, juicy. They look innocent, right? But here's the issue. Grapes, especially when eaten in large quantities, are little sugar bombs. 1 cup of grapes contains around 23 grams of sugar. Now that might not seem like a lot on paper, but for seniors it's more than just a number. When your body takes in that much sugar quickly, without the fiber content to slow it down like you'd get from, say, a pear or an apple, it causes a rapid spike in blood glucose, and what follows is a crash. This sugar roller coaster isn't just bad news for your energy levels, it also affects inflammation throughout your body. And guess where inflammation loves to show up? That's right, your joints and muscles, especially in your knees, hips, and calves. Now think about your legs. They carry your weight all day long. They help you walk, rise from a chair, get upstairs, and maintain balance. When inflammation creeps into those joints or weakens muscle tissue due to poor recovery, it leads to the slow and silent erosion of strength. Suddenly, you're finding it harder to stand up from the couch or walk for more than 10 minutes without feeling tired. The tricky thing with grapes is they're easy to overeat. You don't really eat just 4 or 5. You grab a handful, and then another. And before you know it, you've eaten more sugar than you would in a can of soda. Plus, grapes don't offer much in terms of slowing down digestion. No solid fiber wall, no skin that makes your body work to break it down. Just pure, fast-acting sugar that hits the bloodstream like a rush. Let's move to another one that often flies under the radar: tropical fruits. And I know, tropical fruits are delicious. They remind us of vacations, sunshine, and joy. But here's the deal. Fruits like mangoes, pineapples, and even bananas, while rich in nutrients, are also extremely high in natural sugars and tend to have a high glycemic index. That means they raise your blood sugar quickly. Now that's especially problematic for seniors because blood sugar control becomes more fragile with age. Your pancreas, the organ responsible for insulin production, doesn't respond the same way it used to. And consistent high sugar intake, even from fruits, can increase your risk of insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and worst of all, for your legs, chronic inflammation. Let me tell you something else most people don't realize. High blood sugar isn't just about diabetes risk. It damages blood vessels over time, particularly the smaller ones that supply your extremities, like your legs and feet. Weakened circulation means less oxygen and nutrients delivered to your leg muscles, and that leads to fatigue, cramping, and yes, even muscle loss if it continues unchecked. I spoke to a gentleman not too long ago. Let's call him Mr. Daniels. He's 72, loves golf, and swore by having a banana and mango smoothie every morning for energy. But over the years, he started noticing his legs felt tired quicker on the course, and his balance wasn't quite what it used to be. When we looked at his diet together, the smoothie stood out. All that sugar first thing in the morning was giving him a short burst of energy followed by a crash, and contributing to the leg weakness he couldn't explain. Once he switched to lower sugar fruits like berries and added a little protein, his energy improved, and his legs didn't feel like jelly by the 9th hole. And you don't have to give these fruits up forever, just be mindful of how much and how often. Moderation is key, especially when it comes to sugar-packed options that go down a little too easily. There's a myth that natural sugar is always okay, but the body doesn't always distinguish between the sugar in a soda and the sugar in a banana, especially if the fruit lacks the fiber or protein to slow its absorption. That's why fruits like apples or pears, which have skin and more fiber, are usually better choices. They digest slower, give you longer-lasting energy, and don't create such a dramatic spike and drop. Now that we've talked about the impact of sugar-packed fruits like grapes and tropical varieties, let's shift our focus just a bit and explore another hidden danger that can sneak into your fruit bowl without warning. So let's talk about another surprising fruit that could be causing more harm than good, especially if you're over 60 and trying to stay active, mobile, and pain-free. And this one might raise a few eyebrows because it's often associated with antioxidants and heart health. I'm talking about cherries. Now wait, before you toss out your cherries in a panic, hear me out. Cherries do contain powerful antioxidants, yes, but the concern comes from how often and how many people consume them without considering their sugar content or how their body reacts. You see, cherries are sweet, very sweet. Just 1 cup of cherries can pack up to 18 grams of sugar, and while that might not seem terrible, it can be a real problem if you're snacking on them mindlessly, thinking you're doing your body a favor. Here's something important to remember. As we age, our tolerance for sugar, natural or otherwise, decreases. And even though cherries have some fiber, the sugar-to-fiber ratio isn't enough to completely slow down the sugar rush they cause in your bloodstream. That spike and crash cycle we've talked about, it applies here too. But there's another reason. Cherries make this list. They can be problematic for seniors who suffer from joint pain, arthritis, or gout. Cherries are often touted as a remedy for gout, but the truth is, they can actually trigger flare-ups in some people. And when you're over 60, that can mean several uncomfortable days of inflamed, painful joints, especially in your knees, toes, or ankles, the very parts of your body you need to keep strong and stable. I spoke with a woman named Judy, age 68. She swore by cherries for years because she'd heard they could reduce inflammation, but every time she had a bowl of them, especially in the evening, she noticed her knees ached more the next morning. It wasn't until she started tracking her symptoms that she made the connection. Once she cut back on the cherries and balanced her diet with more anti-inflammatory vegetables and protein, the pain lessened dramatically. This is a good reminder that everyone's body reacts differently. What works for one person may not work for another, and that's especially true with age. If you're experiencing swelling, pain, or stiffness in your legs or joints, and you regularly snack on cherries, it might be worth stepping back and asking, could this healthy snack actually be part of the problem? And here's a little tip. If you still want that cherry flavor, try adding a few to a smoothie with leafy greens and a good protein source. That way you're not spiking your sugar as much, and you're giving your body something to slow down absorption. All right, now let's talk about a fruit that's often in every home, especially during the summer, and people rarely think twice about it. I'm talking about watermelon, big, juicy, refreshing watermelon. It's a classic picnic treat, right? It cools you off, tastes delicious, and seems light and harmless. But watermelon is one of the most misleading fruits out there, especially for seniors. Why? Because watermelon is made up of mostly water and sugar, and not much else. That sounds innocent enough, but here's the catch. It has a glycemic index of 76, that's very high. What that means in simple terms is that watermelon can cause a very quick spike in your blood sugar, even faster than some types of bread. And here's the issue. When that sugar rush hits, your body reacts with a spike in insulin. That insulin response, especially when repeated often, not only causes crashes in energy and focus, but it can lead to insulin resistance over time. And for seniors, insulin resistance is a major contributor to fatigue, weight gain, and even muscle loss. Watermelon is also incredibly easy to overeat. I mean, have you ever stopped at just one small slice? Most of us don't. You scoop out a bowl and it disappears before you even realize how much you've had. And because it doesn't have much fiber or healthy fat to balance it out, that sugar just floods your system. And here's something few people talk about. When your body is busy dealing with sugar overload, it's not focused on recovery or muscle building. That's especially critical for your legs, which need protein and balanced nutrition to stay strong. If you're loading up on high sugar, low nutrient fruits like watermelon, you could be depriving your legs of the nourishment they need to stay firm and stable. Now that doesn't mean you can't ever have watermelon again. A few small cubes on a hot day, fine. But as a daily fruit, or something you eat in large quantities, that's where the danger lies. It's all about balance, and understanding how even healthy fruits can throw your body off track when you're older. It's a funny thing. Many of us grew up thinking, if it comes from nature, it must be good for you. And to some extent, that's true. But nature didn't take into account how our bodies change after 60. What was once fuel can slowly become friction, and when that friction targets your legs, your balance, or your joints, it can make daily life harder than it needs to be. This is why we must become more intentional with our food choices. Not fearful, not obsessive, just aware. Because when you understand how your body responds to certain foods, you can start making tiny shifts that add up to a big transformation. And remember, it's not just about removing these fruits, it's about replacing them with smarter options. Fruits that are still sweet and satisfying but kinder to your body. Berries, for example, are fantastic for seniors. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, they're low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and full of fiber. That's the kind of combination your muscles and joints love, but more on that later. For now, think about what's been sitting in your fruit bowl lately. Are there grapes calling your name every time you pass by the kitchen? Is watermelon your go-to after-dinner snack? Are cherries your healthy indulgence? Being aware is the first step. Making changes comes next, and those don't have to be drastic. Just shifting how often you eat these fruits or pairing them with protein or healthy fats can make a real difference. And speaking of real difference, there's one more fruit I need to talk about. This one's a bit controversial because it's often seen as an easy, convenient snack. But for seniors, especially those with digestive issues, this fruit can cause a lot more discomfort than it's worth. Yeah, bananas, yep, that's the one. Bananas are practically a household staple, right? They're easy to peel, easy to chew, don't require refrigeration, and they seem harmless. In fact, many seniors eat them daily thinking they're doing something good for their health. But let's pause and take a closer look at what's really going on with bananas, especially when it comes to your energy, your digestion, and your leg strength. Now, don't get me wrong, bananas do have some benefits. They contain potassium, which is important for muscle function and heart health. But here's the twist. Most of the time, people eat bananas that are too ripe, and when bananas ripen, their starches turn into sugar. That sweet taste, it's a sign that your banana is basically acting like a sugar bomb. A medium-ripe banana can have up to 14 grams of sugar and very little fiber to balance it out. For seniors, that sugar spike is not just a number, it's a real physical event. After eating a banana, your blood sugar rises quickly and your pancreas kicks in with a big wave of insulin to process it. If this happens often enough, your body becomes less responsive to insulin, leading to insulin resistance. And guess what? Insulin resistance is tied to loss of muscle mass, particularly in the legs and thighs. Now, why does this matter? Because your legs are your foundation. They support your entire body. If you start losing strength there, you'll notice it when climbing stairs, walking across a room, or simply getting up from a chair. Weak legs increase your risk of falls, which is one of the biggest dangers for people over 60. But there's more. Bananas also contain compounds that can slow down digestion. In some people, especially those with sensitive guts. If you've ever felt bloated or sluggish after eating one, you're not alone. They can be constipating for some seniors, or cause the exact opposite in others. Either way, when your digestive system isn't working smoothly, your body has to work harder to extract nutrients and maintain balance. There was a gentleman I worked with, Roger, 73 years old. He used to eat 2 bananas every morning with his oatmeal. It was part of his routine, but he kept complaining about feeling heavy and tired by mid-morning. When he switched to lower sugar fruits like berries and added a boiled egg for protein instead, he was shocked by how much better he felt. No more mid-morning crashes, no more grogginess, just steadier energy and stronger legs during his afternoon walks. That's the power of being intentional with your food choices. It's not about fear. It's about figuring out what fuels you best at this stage of life. And sometimes what we think is helping us might actually be slowing us down. And if you're worried about losing out on potassium, don't be. There are plenty of other foods that give you what bananas do, without the sugar overload. Spinach, avocados, sweet potatoes. These are nutrient-dense choices that keep your energy levels steady without putting stress on your blood sugar. So, while bananas might be convenient, they're not necessarily the best daily fruit choice for seniors who want to protect their legs, boost energy, and stay balanced. Have them occasionally if you love them, just maybe not every single morning. Now, I want to talk about something that's often overlooked, how the combination of certain fruits can amplify their effects on your body. Because it's not always just about one fruit. It's about how your diet stacks up as a whole. Let's say you have orange juice with breakfast, a banana mid-morning, and a handful of grapes after lunch. Individually, none of these seem harmful, but together, they create a high-sugar roller coaster throughout your day. And when that happens day after day, it doesn't just make you tired, it wears down your muscles, inflames your joints, and messes with your balance. Over time, your legs can literally feel heavier and weaker, and you may not even connect it back to the fruit bowl sitting on your kitchen counter. That's why I always say, nutrition in your 60s and 70s isn't about eating less. It's about eating smarter. Your body has different needs now. It craves steady energy, strong muscles, and good blood flow. And those things come from foods that support your metabolism, not spike it and crash it over and over. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly energized after a snack? I mean the kind of energy where your legs feel light, your mind is clear, and you feel ready to take on the rest of your day. If that's a rare feeling, then it's worth taking a look at what you're using as fuel. What you eat either builds you up or breaks you down, especially as you age. And when it comes to fruits, some of the most popular choices are doing more harm than good. But here's the good news. When you make even small shifts in your daily fruit choices, the benefits can show up fast. Better balance, more strength, clearer thinking, all from tweaking your snack habits. And just in case no one's told you this today, you deserve to feel strong. You deserve to move without pain. You deserve to wake up feeling energized, not drained. And food can help you get there one bite at a time. Now we've covered grapes, cherries, watermelon, and bananas, and each one, while healthy on the surface, carries hidden risks for seniors. But there's still one more fruit we need to talk about. This one hides behind a healthy label too, but it can wreak havoc on your gut, your blood sugar, and even your medication if you're not careful. And that fruit is grapefruit. Now you might be surprised to hear that, because grapefruit is often seen as a health food, low in calories, refreshing, and even marketed as part of those old-school weight loss diets. But for seniors, grapefruit is one of the most deceptive fruits out there. It can quietly interfere with your medications, upset your digestion, and contribute to muscle weakness over time, especially in your legs. Let's start with the medication issue because this is something many people just don't know about. Grapefruit contains compounds called furanocoumarins. These compounds interfere with enzymes in your liver, specifically the ones responsible for breaking down certain medications. What does that mean in simple terms? It means if you eat grapefruit while taking specific prescriptions, like cholesterol, medications, blood pressure drugs, anxiety meds, or even some heart medications, the fruit can block your liver from processing them properly. And when that happens, the medicine can build up to dangerous levels in your bloodstream. Now imagine this. You're doing everything right. You're taking your medication, eating what you think is a healthy diet, and yet your legs feel weak. Your balance is off, and your energy seems drained. The doctor increases your dosage or adds another pill thinking your body isn't responding. But the real issue, that grapefruit you had for breakfast every other day, has been disrupting your medication all along. It's a hidden cycle that too many seniors get caught in, and it can easily be avoided with just a bit of knowledge. I once spoke to a lovely woman named Arlene. She was 76 and very active. She walked every morning, did yoga twice a week, and swore by her half a grapefruit every day. But she also had high blood pressure and was on a common medication. Over time, she started noticing dizzy spells, cramps in her calves, and occasional numbness in her legs. After a long back and forth with her doctor, they finally figured out that her daily grapefruit was the root of the problem. Once she stopped eating it and let her medication stabilize, her symptoms began to fade within weeks. Now, this doesn't mean grapefruit is bad in a general sense. It just means it's not always a good fit for seniors, especially those managing chronic conditions. And let's be honest, most of us over 60 are taking something, whether it's for blood pressure, cholesterol, or our heart. Grapefruit just isn't worth the risk unless your doctor gives you a green light. But medication interaction isn't the only issue. Grapefruit is also very acidic, and as we age, our digestive systems become more sensitive to these acids. That acidity can irritate the lining of the stomach, trigger acid reflux, and disrupt gut flora, especially if you have a sensitive digestive system to begin with. And here's something important. When your digestion is off, your ability to absorb key nutrients like magnesium, calcium, and vitamin D also drops. And guess what those nutrients are responsible for? That's right, muscle strength, bone density, and leg stability. When your gut isn't happy, your legs aren't either. Many seniors struggle silently with things like frequent leg cramps, balance issues, or feeling like their legs are heavy. And often, we focus on the symptoms instead of tracing it back to what we're putting into our bodies. But once you connect those dots, you gain control. You can make simple changes that have a ripple effect across your whole health. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your fruit bowl and thought, these are all good for me, without realizing how they could be working against your body's needs at this age? It's so easy to fall into the trap of assuming fruit equals health. And yes, many fruits are packed with antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber, but for seniors, it's not just about what's in the fruit. It's about how your body responds to it. Your metabolism, your digestion, your muscle function, they're all different in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. What worked for you 20 years ago might not work the same today. And that's okay. Adapting your diet doesn't mean giving things up. It means upgrading your choices so they support your energy, your movement, and your peace of mind. So here's the thing. It's not about fear. It's about awareness. And once you're aware of how certain fruits like grapes, cherries, bananas, watermelon, and grapefruit can affect your strength, balance, and medication, you have the power to make smarter choices. Not restrictive ones, just thoughtful ones. Think of it like tuning a piano. You're not throwing away the instrument. You're adjusting the keys so that the music you make is stronger, more vibrant, and more in tune with the life you want to live. And there's so much life to live. Whether it's walking through the park with your grandkids, dancing in the kitchen to your favorite oldies, or simply standing up without pain or effort, your legs are your partners in all of it. They carry you through your day, and they deserve to be supported with the right nutrition. So if you've been eating these fruits thinking they're helping you, don't feel bad. This isn't about blame. It's about learning and evolving. You now have the tools to turn things around and give your body what it truly needs to thrive. And the beautiful part? You don't have to overhaul everything at once. Start with one small change. Swap that sugary fruit for one that's high in fiber and low in sugar. Pay attention to how your body feels. Keep a little journal if it helps. Track your energy. Notice how your legs feel after a walk or a meal. The more in tune you become with your body, the easier it gets to spot what works and what doesn't. You've got so much wisdom, experience, and strength inside you. Now it's just about giving your body the right support from the inside out, starting with your next bite. And once you start feeling those small improvements, less heaviness in your legs, fewer aches after a short walk, more balance when you're standing, it becomes clear just how powerful your daily food choices really are. You begin to realize that every meal, every snack, every little habit adds up. And it's not just about cutting things out, it's about replacing them with better options. Now, before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to talk about the mindset shift that often gets overlooked. As we get older, it's easy to feel like change is hard or worse, pointless. Maybe you've had the same breakfast for 30 years. Maybe your fruit bowl has always had bananas and grapes in it. So why change now? Well, here's why. Because your body is different now. And giving it what it needs today isn't just a gift, it's a form of self-respect. You've worked hard for decades. You've raised families, built careers, overcome loss, celebrated milestones. You deserve to feel strong and supported in your body. You deserve to get up in the morning without worrying if your knees will give out or if your legs will cramp during the night. You deserve to enjoy your retirement, your independence, and your time without constantly feeling held back by pain, weakness, or fatigue. The good news is your body responds, sometimes quicker than you expect. I've heard stories from seniors who made one small change, cutting out watermelon or trading grapes for berries, and within weeks they noticed more energy in their legs. They could stand longer, walk farther, and even sleep better because their muscles weren't twitching or aching through the night. And remember, there are plenty of fruits that are not only safe for seniors, but incredibly beneficial. Berries, like blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, are low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and great for your brain and muscles. Apples with the skin on? Fantastic for fiber and gut health. Pears, plums, even kiwi in moderation. These can support your digestion, your bones, and your energy. You're not giving up sweetness, you're just being smarter about where it comes from. So here's a little challenge, if you're up for it. For the next week, take a close look at the fruits you're eating. Just observe. Are they high in sugar? Are they giving you a crash afterward? Are you feeling more bloated, tired, or stiff after eating them? Then try switching one of them out. Just one. Maybe replace that banana with a half cup of blueberries, or skip the grapes and enjoy some apple slices with cinnamon instead. See how your body responds. It doesn't take a miracle, it just takes consistency. And I promise, when you begin to feel even 10% better, more steady on your feet, more energized, after meals, you'll be motivated to keep going, because that feeling of strength, of confidence in your own body, that's priceless. And hey, you're not doing this alone. There are thousands of seniors out there on this same journey, making the same small changes, cheering each other on. You are part of a powerful, growing community of people who are saying, I still matter, my health still matters, and I can make better choices at any age. So let's take a moment to celebrate that. Not just the knowledge you've gained here today, but the decision you've made to keep learning, growing, and taking care of yourself. That's something not everyone does, and it's something worth being proud of. If you found something helpful in this video, something that made you think or smile or say, aha, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. What fruits have you struggled with? What changes have you made recently? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take that first step. And if this kind of practical, uplifting health advice is something you enjoy, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more people find this video, and it tells us to keep making content just like this. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on our next senior-friendly health tip, and feel free to share this video with a friend or loved one who might benefit too. Here's to feeling better, moving better, and living better. Starting today, you've got everything you need inside you to make it happen. And I'm right here cheering you on every step of the way. You've earned your strength. Now let's protect it. And as we close this conversation today, I just want to remind you of something truly important, something we don't hear nearly enough as we age. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. And it's never too late to take better care of yourself. Whether you're 60, 70, or even 90 years old, your choices still matter. Your health still matters. You might be thinking, but I've been eating these fruits for years, why change now? And that's a fair question. But the truth is, our bodies aren't the same at 70 as they were at 40. Our muscles, bones, digestion, and even blood sugar response evolve with time. So what once felt fine may now be quietly contributing to the fatigue, leg weakness, or joint pain you feel. But that's not a reason to worry. It's an opportunity to tune in, listen to your body, and say, hey, I care enough about myself to adjust. Not with guilt, not with shame, just with love and awareness. That kind of change is powerful. And look, no one's saying you can't ever enjoy a slice of watermelon or a few grapes, but when those fruits start showing up in your daily meals, when they become a habit rather than an occasional treat, that's when they start doing more harm than good. It's all about balance, mindful eating, choosing what helps you, not what holds you back. It's the little tweaks that matter most. A banana swap here, a melon-free smoothie there. Those small shifts add up. They build momentum. They spark energy in your legs, clarity in your mind, and joy in your daily routines. Because when your legs are strong, you walk more, you move more, and you feel more free. And isn't that what we all want in our golden years? Freedom, vitality, independence. Every step you take toward better nutrition is a step toward a stronger, happier you. And the beautiful part? You're not doing this alone. We are building a community, right here, one video at a time, of seniors who are saying yes to better living, who are sharing wisdom, laughing at old habits, and learning together. If something today clicked for you, I'd love to hear it. Maybe it was one fruit you realized you'd been eating daily. Maybe it was a story that reminded you of your own journey, or maybe you just needed a little motivation to believe you can still improve your health. Drop a comment and let's keep this conversation going. You never know who your words might inspire, and while you're here, don't forget to like this video if it brought you value. It really does help us reach more people like you, people who are ready to live longer, stronger, and wiser. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we've got so much more to explore together, from foods to fitness to brain health and beyond. You deserve to wake up feeling strong, to walk without fear of falling, to play with your grandkids, tend to your garden, or just enjoy a peaceful stroll through the park without leg pain dragging you down. That's what this is all about. Not perfection, just progress. One smart choice at a time. So go ahead, open that fridge, look at your fruit, draw, and ask yourself, is this helping me feel better? If the answer is no, don't stress. Just start making a better choice today. Your future self will thank you, your legs will thank you, and your life in so many ways will open up. Here's to aging gracefully, eating wisely, and walking through life with strength and confidence. You've got this, and I'm honored to be part of your journey. Until next time, take care of those legs, be kind to your body, and always remember, you're stronger than you think.